Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yes, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. NB's not here, but we got one of my favorite people on the show right now, Mr. DL Hughley. He's got a new book out, How to Survive in America. DL, what's up, my brother?
What's up, man? What's up, birthday boy? How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, black, and highly favored, man.
Yeah, that's a good combination. How you doing, pretty one?
I'm good, DL. How are you? Good to see you always.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm doing a lot better than last time this year. Last time this year,
You had COVID, right?
Yeah. You know, most people think it was Juneteenth, but it's the anniversary of me passing out on stage. So,
Oh, hold on. So hold on. Was it the COVID or the passing out? Which one was it?
well, I had COVID, but I was dehydrated. You know, because I think drinking and flying and exercising probably ain't a good combination. But so I was and performing. So I just passed out on stage. Then they revealed to me I had COVID. But then I gave everybody, I'm talking about Jasmine, the whole, my son, everybody that worked with me. So it was the gift that kept on giving.
Well, look at the bright side. You gave them the antibody too.
Yeah, I did. I guess.
You know what I mean?
If a spider bite them, they'll be superheroes. See,
That's right. now, DL,
Listen, it's a blessing that it's a blessing. I just want to say that everybody survived that too, because that's not an easy thing. You know how guilty you would feel like if you went back to work and then somebody didn't make it.
And that's what's funny to me because it's still people out there who don't believe the outside was shut down, like literally outside. Like outside was shut down, but people still don't believe it. And I think when you have seen what it has done to people, I don't know anybody that hasn't lost somebody from this disease. I don't know anybody that hasn't been affected by it in some way. But I guess, I'm very blessed that no one that I know of in my particular instance where I gave it to them died. I'm happy about that.
Now, DL, you about to have your own Hughley school with your own curriculum. You keep putting out all these damn books, man. It's your third book in like a year and a half, it seemed like.
Well, you know what? I wasn't even going to write the book, but then I got COVID and I was hearing all these people talking about the disproportion, how COVID was disproportionately affecting Black people. And I saw Jerome Adams come on TV and talk about how it was our drinking and eating, basically intimated there was our drinking, eating, and smoking. And there's never been a time where something bad happened to Black people that they didn't, in some kind of way, blame it on us. Like,
right.
What we eat, it's what we smoke, it's what we drink. As I recall, COVID was ravaging the world, but I didn't hear any other government officials all over anywhere in the world give a particular dispensation to a group of people. They didn't say, well, Italians, you getting it because of this, or Spanish, you getting it because of this. But there always has seemed to be this thing where America has to show us that it's our fault for existing. Like it's our fault for putting ourselves in these situations. So that was the impetus for the book.
Yeah, along those lines, you talk about George Floyd getting killed in the book, and you say how they try to blame it on him and talk about, he had all this in his system and this is what happened. And so that's something that happens, all the time here in the United States. And then we just saw the verdict for Derek Chauvin, 22 and a half years. So what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I was watching it like everyone else, and I knew immediately when the judge said, I'm not going to be swayed by emotion or public opinion. And then he gave his verdict, and his verdict was tepid because I don't think America's ever seen a Black person die that they didn't think was inherently at fault for it. This man watched testimony, he watched witness testimony, he saw the facts, he watched that young man's daughter testify, young daughter testify, but he was more inclined to be sympathetic to the mother of a murdered woman than he was the daughter of a murdered son. And the way he just took the emotion out of it, he could have just said, and contrast it with that, had that been something that society, was abhorred by, like if it had been the reverse situation, he would have made a statement for society. He would have said, this is a boring society, we can't have it. When something happens to Black people, it's just, it's bad, but it ain't that bad because they inherently believe that some kind of way that it was our fault. And the only way George Floyd wouldn't have gotten killed by Derek Chauvin is not to have met him that day. That was the only thing I want to say.
That's right. And even hearing Derek after the fact say, well, it's more things that's going to come out that y'all don't know. Nigga, what more can we know?
Yeah, come on.
Right.
You seen it.
Right. He didn't even say, he couldn't even, look, man, if I'm genuinely sorry, we've all had to apologize for things that we were genuinely sorry about. You look a person in his eyes and you connect with him in some way. He gave the most formulaic, well, if more things will come out. Yeah, nigga, you going to prison, but not long enough. Like, and then you're gonna catch a federal beef. So I just think when it comes to us, there's just never, it's two things America generally doesn't feel sorry for. One's a great young black man, the other one's a great white shark. They just, we got.
Hey, I'm glad you said what you said about, the way they view black people, because I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but that's how I feel about them trying to push the vaccine to the black community and then acting like we the problem for pushing back.
Exactly.
As if this country hasn't shown us that the medical institution has been racist towards us since day one. Like to distrust us for no reason.
Right. Well, I had Dr. Fauci on my show, and I said exactly that. If you look at the Hanes company and what they did, just look at Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson sold a product to black and brown women, the baby powder. You remember black women had baby powder everywhere. Like, yeah, they swear they're making cookies under their arms. I'm like, what you doing? Like,
now hold on, y'all was using baby powder too, DL.
Exactly
y'all was
right.
powdered. Yeah.
You're exactly right, but that was sold to us because they believe, because inherently we didn't want to be seen as smelly or filthy, and they sold that to us, knowing it was poison, knowing that it would kill us, knowing that it would cause us physical harm. Now these same people are selling us a life-saving serum. Like that's what, so I can understand the hesitant, because the last time black people were invited for medical treatment, the line started in Tuskegee. I get it, but we have a choice, either to accept that this isn't real and that God's going to take care of it, that it'll all go away, or to do something that kind of insulates you against something. So to me, the choice is a devil's bargain, but I think I have seen what it's done. So I knew I took the Moderna vaccine because a young black woman developed it. She was in technical development. And in addition to sisters, if you take this, now in addition to the fact that it'll potentially could save you, because the sister developed it, it'll lay your edges down. So that'd be great. No Gorilla Glue for you, damn it.
How do you get black people to be more open to getting the vaccine though? Because like you said, and as we all know, there is a history of us not just trusting the whole medical profession and things that have happened to us in the past. And I know they're trying to figure it out now. Like, how do we get this into more black people? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, how can you even make that something that we feel is more valuable?
So listen, people believe what they hear on the internet more than they hear from a medical professional. You have a doctor. If you don't have a doctor, I mean, you can find access to a doctor. Then talk to somebody, because you have to be an advocate in your own personal health, just like anything else. But and I think just got to stop listening. When I hear celebrities get on TV, I'm not taking because I don't trust what's in it. I'm like, motherfucker, wasn't you just on cocaine? You were just on cocaine, right? Like, you don't know what's in Remy Martin either. You don't know what's in the Popeye chicken sandwich either. Like, so at a certain point, the government and corporate America, this nexus has been detrimental to us. But is this disease real? Is it killing us disproportionately or not? Is there something that we can do about it or not? And I think in the end, you have an obligation, not only for you, but your family and your community, to make a sobering, intelligent, well-educated choice. You have to decide based on information what's best for you. And I think if people are right, then this vaccine is going to take all the people away. It's going to be all the scientists, all the doctors. So it's going to be just a bunch of Trump supporters and black conspiracy theorists on there. Who want to live around?
Lord have mercy. Yeah, give me the vaccine and let me get the fuck out of here. I'm going.
I don't want to live in a world where nobody don't believe a damn thing.
No way. I will say though, man, you're right, DL. It's all about personal choice, because there is nothing America can do to make black people trust him. Not no conscious black person.
At all. Not just black people. Look at just the fact where black women would seek treatment and they would get sterilized. You look at what eugenics did, like in California and North Carolina, where Hanes Company and Hershey Company, like those people were involved in making America, what they call making America better, by sterilizing black people they didn't think were worthy of life. Those people didn't go anywhere. They had children. That mentality didn't go anywhere. They had children. And now you're asking us to trust that nexus. But it's very hard to sit here as a person. Like when I got COVID, I was in the hospital with a young dude who had gotten it, I guess, a couple of days before me. When I left the hospital at UCLA, he died. He was 28 years old. So,
wow.
I know it's real. Like I can't, I mean, it was up until a couple of months ago, my blood pressure would drop so fast, I would almost pass out again, and they would call it long-term COVID. So people have, my son is still going to a cardiologist to make sure that his heart isn't damaged from this disease. So I had no choice. I'm not going to keep risking the people I love in my community or something, but people are going to have to make those choices for themselves. But I don't
Now,
think
Dia, what's been your own personal experience with going to the doctor, right? Because you talk about that too, and even being able to choose the right doctor. What has it been like for you personally, that journey?
Well, I think everybody, like when I first, I have a doctor now, Dr. Lavin, who's a great doctor. But when I initially started going to the doctor's office I go to, it was a doctor named Dr. Brown, and he would never touch me or look at me. My stomach was killing me. I didn't know what was going on. This is 25 years ago. Then I see this young kid walk by, and I go, "Are you a doctor?" And I told him what was going on. And that doctor started treating me. Now he treats my whole family. He has he treats a lot of people, but he started asking me questions and like, how can I decide what's wrong with you if I don't have an intimate I have to see you, touch you. I have to see what's going on with you. I have to care. Mm-hmm. So I think that if you look at how Black people are treated, you don't have to look further than Naomi Osaka. When she said she wasn't, mentally up to performing, they said that she was, weaponizing mental health. They just don't believe us. If we're sick, they don't believe us. If we're hurt, they don't believe us. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons we didn't get hooked on opiates to the extent the rest of the country did, because we don't have the doctors, though, you ain't in pain, so I ain't giving you nothing to stop it. So I think the idea that when we tell you we hurt, there's something in your mechanism in your mind that can't believe that Black people can, like even medical doctors right now believe Black people are bigger and more impervious to pain. We're not super. If a Black person had a superpower, it should be the ability to make white people believe them. That would be like.
Hey, there's a great book you should read, DL, called My Grandma's Hands. It's called My Grandma's Hands, Racialized Trauma and the Pathways to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies, man. They talk about that at length, about how white people just feel like we're just impervious to pain.
Text that to me. Like even the very J. Marion Sims, who had up until recently a statue in the park, and it's the father of modern gynecology. He performed surgery without anesthesia on enslaved Black women. Like almost everything that's associated with us, almost everything. Like even if you look at Juneteenth, more white people will be off on a day that commemorates the end of slavery, albeit two and a half years later, will be off. And I think to make it fair, if we're gonna have a Juneteenth, white people should have to work all day for free that day. They all
for us.
Yeah, right. When do I get a break? You'll find out. And your kids. It's just there are things that America will accept, and there are things that they won't. Like we've made incredible leaps. We will accept a man is really a woman trapped in a woman's body, or a woman's really a man trapped in a man's body. But we haven't grasped the concept that all Black people aren't inherently inferior or inherently criminal. Like every time a Black person gets shot, it's like, what about Chicago? I live in San Jose. What the hell that got to do with me? Like, so right. I think that even when I watch you do an interview with Pete Buttigieg, and he was talking about how far America's come.
Buttigieg, man. What did you call him? Just man,
he said it how it looks. He said it how it looks.
I don't know. I think he's a bright young kid, but I think like everybody else, he can't wrap his mind around the fact that America, either Black people are infantile, amoral people, or America's been incredibly racist and monstrous. Either they can't. When you look at the fact, like they always look how far we've come. Yes, but every one of our freedoms is attached to white people's notion of it. Every one of our freedoms has a moratorium on it, and even the right to vote depends on which set of white men are in power at the time when it comes up for re-election, or when it comes to a vote. When our freedoms are not in charge, we shouldn't have to negotiate basic human freedoms, but we're as free as the white people in charge that day let us be.
That's right.
Freedom, we don't have to negotiate freedom. I don't have to have a panel and one of the things people say, well, it makes white people feel bad, this critical race theory. Yeah, learning about racism is bad, but change was a lot worse.
That's right. That's
right. I don't get it. So I don't understand. And there is this notion that you whatever has happened to you has to have been your fault, or my forefathers were just monsters. Like we have monsters on the $20 bill. It's the fact that we got a rapist and a murder on our money that we have to work hard for is ironic to me.
I hate the fact that they point to the creed of this country and say, yeah, this is what this country is all about. If this country was really about freedom, liberty, and justice for all, we wouldn't have to fight for our rights.
Who has to fight for even Black people are the only force, the only being in existence that has to ask other beings for its right to exist. It's right to just live. No one's telling you we want to be in charge. We're saying we have the basic right that our lives matter is a political statement that starts fights.
That's right.
I never thought I'd see America so scared of a disease they let us walk around with masks on. I just didn't think. it's just getting around this notion and having Black people understand this notion. Like I hear, and you hear this all the time, Black on Black crime, but Black children who have Black teachers throughout the course of their educational journey are more likely to go on to school. Black women and Black people who have Black medical doctors and healthcare professionals are more likely to have a successful outcome. We can't be bad for each other if we teach each other how to learn and we lead each other to life. We can't be bad for each other. Just having Black people around you makes you safer and opens your mind up. How can we be bad to each other? And why do we sell the notion that we are?
Man, it's the illest mind fuck, DL. These colonizers who killed, raped, pillaged all around the world, most violent people you've ever seen, convinced the world that we the violent ones. And we convinced each other that we the violent ones.
And like when everybody always go, oh, we like crabs in a bucket. Well, you idiot, crabs don't belong in a bucket. If you put anything anywhere that doesn't belong, it would fight to survive. People are idiots. It's crazy to me.
You talk. I was going to say back to your Black on Black crime, because yes, people always bring that up. And I can't stand when people do that when it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. When you're talking about police brutality against Black people and they're like, well, Black people need to stop killing each other. And you're right. And you say it in the book too, Black on Black doctoring. Let's talk about that. Black on Black entrepreneurship and how we can help each other out so much. And that representation really does matter, because how do you know what you can be or do? And how can somebody help you better than somebody that looks like you, right?
When people, we learn by seeing things, like some people, and hearing things. We're audiodidactic to a large degree. Whatever we are right now is what we see. Like people start playing Black people start playing basketball because they saw Black people doing it. We started, look at what happened when Black people watched the Cosbys. How many people went to college? Look at what happened now when Barack Obama ran for president, and look how many people became involved in the political process. And there's a direct correlation between watching Cosby, not all the stuff that happened after. And you didn't want to watch it. You didn't watch it. And America's acceptance of a Black father or a Black leader position. So we do what we see. And if you took all of the resources out of anywhere, a rose and a weed fight for the same resources as Black people doing these. Like, crime isn't based on race. It's based on poverty. Show me a safe, poor place. But everybody, Chicago is the whipping boy for all that's wrong in the Black community. Nobody ever talks about West Virginia and how thousands more pills than people. Nobody ever makes a connection. Everybody talks about Black on Black crime as if we are all inherently the same. Nobody talks about white racism the same way. Nobody does that.
That's right.
So I think we have to start having different conversations with people, and the only way I can do it is either through a joke or a book.
Why can't politicians just say America is a racist country? Whether it's Secretary Pete, whether it's OG Jim Clyburn, VP Harris, Tim Scott. Why can't politicians just say America's a racist country?
Anybody that gets money from somebody that they got to make feel good, whether it's a dope dealer, a preacher, or a politician, all have the same interests. Whether it's a dope dealer, preacher, they got to make you feel good, or they can't live. If they don't make you feel good, if you're not coming back, America's fat and ignorant because we like too much sweet in our food and in our conversation. We have to feel good. We're a nation full of infantile children. I know that if I want to be a healthy human being, I can't only consume what I like. I can't eat dessert all the time.
That's right.
We hear the things we want to hear, and whatever we don't want to hear, we won't. Like we go in these echo chambers. Like we live around people that are like us. We talk to people that are like us. Even the algorithms on our social media are people that are more inclined to be like us. And so we live in these worlds where you never see anybody from Fox News go anywhere else because they only play home games. Like how great a champion could you be if you only played in front of your home crowd? You can't win. The greatest teams are the teams that can win anywhere. But you're so afraid of having your notion challenged that you will only play for the team that you suit up for every day.
That's real. What does surviving in America look like to you, DL? Because the book is called How to Survive in America. What does that look like to you?
Right now, it's lucky. Right now, you just got to be. It really is, and it's sad. Wow. There was nothing Trayvon Martin could have done. There was nothing Tamir Rice could have done. There was nothing until we change this notion that our lives literally matter, until we change this notion that our deaths, like even having asthma and how can you tell us to eat better and everything's 17 miles away or it's so expensive? How can you tell us to learn when our schools got lead in them and people who don't care about them and they're underfunded? How can you tell us to be viable members of society when you inherently tell us we're not? So our survival right now is predicated right now. Like, we as parents teach our children, are so afraid of our children and teach them to be so respectful that like that'll save them, and it won't. And it should be to a society shame that they would care, that they are more interested in having a compliant society than a well-regulated professional police department. And so all of our survival mechanisms, I was lucky when I got sick in Nashville. They were going to take me to one hospital, found out who it was, took me to another. I was lucky. I was lucky to have the resources to not have to stay in Nashville and beyond. I was lucky. So obviously there was hard work, but Black people are some of the only people who are judged by the exception and not the rule. Well, Michael Jordan did it. Everybody can't be Michael Jordan.
Nope.
Where they always gonna point to the one dude who made it out. How come you can't be like him? Because most of us are not exceptional inherently, but we are based on exception. So our experience, our existence here, basically to date, is based on luck, and to change that, there have to be real systemic changes. There just has to be.
I saw an article about and we've been talking about this a lot too on the Breakfast Club, but home appraisals, right? Yeah. And how they'll tell you your home value is way lower than what it is if you're Black. But then if they think a white person owns the home, all of a sudden that value goes up. What was your experience with that?
So I lived in West Hills. I live in Calabasas now, but to buy that home, because LaDonna always wanted to live here. So of course I had to do what she said, or she won't leave me alone about it. So we bought this house, it was 3 years old. It's called West Hills. We remodeled it, put everything in it. She finds this house she wants to live in. So we're going to sell that one. It's the top of the market. It's California. It's top of the market. My real estate person, who was my sister-in-law, take all your pictures down and all the Africa. And I'm like, I'm not taking a picture down. It comes back so low that in order for it to have to be a real appraisal, the house would have had to been dilapidated. It had to been just disrepaired. I called the bank. They sent another appraiser out. It sells for the top of the market. We asked that guy why he did it. He said, well, because that's what I felt like it was worth. And he got fired. So they could have took hundreds of thousands of dollars of real income, which is supposed to be the big chip in the game, just because the Brookings Institute talk about how we're owed billions of dollars because the same structure, just because we live in it, is less valuable to them. Like when I heard a white dude talk about it, I think it's on my social media, he was talking about how they view Black women as masculine. And they said in order for them to learn, this dude's prescription was in order for them to learn how to be feminine, they should get a gay friend who learned how to be feminine by watching them.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw Amanda Seales was like, so I got to watch another man teach me how to be a woman after they done emulated our whole style. I saw that.
And to me, it's this notion that we are inherently inferior, that we are, and it's just in every aspect of our lives. How is it that I buy a structure, you buy a structure? That structure has the same bathroom, bedrooms, grass, and that my presence just living in it devalues that property, unless you believe that I am inferior.
You know what's so crazy, DL? That's one of the reasons I'm such an advocate for mental health, because the first book my daddy ever gave me was Autobiography of Malcolm X. And then I read Message to the Black Man. And that's one of the reasons I love the Nation of Islam, because they instill in us reminders of our greatness. That's literally what it is. They want us to remember how great we are as Black people. All we have to do is turn that on. If we literally just turn that on, I promise you we can change things.
But I think that people are it's like, and I gotta you do what you all are doing in terms of, because I would never, like, I drink and I smoke and I womanize because you know, somebody's you're broken, and you don't like, and there are ways that manifests itself in your life. But the notion, you can't pray everything away, you can't drink everything away, you can't screw everything away, you can't gamble everything away, and our idea of ourselves is predicated on somebody's definition of us.
That's right.
You can't do this because you're supposed to be Black and you're supposed to be this. Just look at how suicidal we become just in this last couple of years. Just look how young people are dying. How we're in such despair. And it's because two things. One, to your point, our story here starts in the middle. All of our stories started in the middle. We were something before this. And the other thing is that we feel weak asking for, if your car didn't run, you wouldn't just pretend like it didn't run. You would go get help for it. If your house was in disrepair, you would do something about it. But what is it about our hearts, our heads, and our minds that we feel weak by not asking what you're supposed to do as a human organism? You're supposed to make sure that you're mentally viable. And I think that you're right. We are such a lost people. All of our stories are told to us by somebody else. And until we understand exactly who we are in our place in the world, like, to me, I think Black people, men, only exist for one reason: to protect and provide for their loved ones. That's why we're here.
That's right.
And even if you give something nothing to do, no job to do, no purpose to be here, it's destructive. I don't care if it's a dog or a child. If you leave something with nothing to do, and I think it is because we don't understand our purpose here. And our purpose here is to make sure our people stay viable, they stay tapped into who they are, and it seems to be just a lost cause a lot of times.
When did you realize your purpose?
I think it evolves. I think that before, I just wanted to get out of where I was at. And then I wanted to make money, and then I wanted to laugh, and then I wanted to raise a family. And now I just want people to, whether people dig what I say or don't, it's not my gig. A laugh and a boo, pretty much the same thing to me. But as long as I'm clear, and my gig right now is to be as clear as possible. And I think there is a peace and clarity that gives me a more satiated now than I've ever been, because I know what I'm saying. I believe. I know that I feel it, and I know that I'm ready to accept what other people assess that as.
What's harder to write, DL? Books or stand-up?
Stand-up's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll see something, it'll be funny to me. Like now, like, irony is funny to me. Like now, I remember Caitlyn Jenner, she said that she didn't believe cisgender athletes should be able to compete against transgender athletes. People got mad. And I was like, I don't know why. She been all of them. Like, literally, she's been all of them. Like, she's on the Wheaties box and the tampon box. How are you mad at somebody that jokes are easier to write because they're just I look at an ironic twist in something, and it's just funny to me. And then I don't have an expectation of what people will feel about that. So I think that's easier. It's harder to write a book because it's more collaboration, and you have to involve more things in your innate ability to communicate.
We saw Cat Williams saying that Cedric stole one of his jokes, and it turned into a thing, and Cedric responded. Have you ever been accused of stealing a joke or had an experience?
Yes, of course. The first time I ever started doing comedy here in Los Angeles, Tommy Davidson said, "Hey, that's my joke," and he was right. He was right.
Oh, you stole it from him?
Yeah, I didn't know it was his, but yeah, of course. I started 30 years ago. You do what you see, and then after a while you become, and that's what's insulting. Stop pretending like you did something, that somebody did something you didn't do to something. Everybody steals in the beginning. I don't care who you are and how great you become. If tell me a comic who said he's never stole a joke, and I'll show you a liar. That's ridiculous. But And it's not the jokes that make things funny. Nobody ever broke because of a joke. Nobody ever broke because of a joke. They all break because of the personality. Cat is a brilliant comic. No matter what he says, it's going to be pretty brilliant. Say's a brilliant comic. And in the end, they're two different people with two different perspectives. You would never go to a Cat Williams show and expect Cedric, and you would never go to a Cedric show to expect Cat. But I know this. I've never seen Say, and I've known him my whole career. Wife and my wife, you can tell when we got a residual check because they'll be gone and it'll be empty envelopes. But I've never seen a dude who's more loved and respected him. He's so loved and respected, I can't stand him sometimes. I'm like, man, nobody ever about you. Like one time Dick Gregory said something bad about me, and I was so happy it literally made my day. It made my day. If what Cat said was true, it would have made my day. If I believed it, it would have made my day. Because I'm like, finally somebody said something bad about you. But I think that they're just different people, and you can have a different idea of it. But I don't. There's one event, thousands of perspectives, and I've just never seen Say be that kind of dude.
You got to tell me.
Back to Tommy Davidson. You got to expand on that. And did you apologize? Like, what happens when you steal a joke?
I got defensive and started wanting to fight because I was wrong and dumb. Yeah.
But how do you steal from somebody but didn't know you stole from them?
Because you hear it. You just hear a joke. Like I heard somebody telling a joke, just in parlance. Now I didn't know it was Tommy Davidson because I would have known who he was, but he was in the audience. And that dude came up to me and he said, "Hey man, that's my joke." And I mean, what the hell, all that kind of stuff. And he was right. And I apologize. I didn't apologize till years later, but he was right.
That's when you steal a nigga chain from somebody who stole a chain from somebody else.
Right. Like I don't know it's yours, then I'm American. I'm quintessentially American.
What about getting a joke stolen from you though, right? Since you stole his joke. And have you confronted people like, you stole my... I
remember when we used to do Def Jam, people used to do that all the time. But it was ironic because I knew I had already done it. So now I'm just going to pretend like I didn't know I did it. Steal from me all you want. You can't steal me. I'm going to say something. Right. I don't care. That's something to talk about, but it's really not, to me, it doesn't really amount to much because you're going to, I've done 11 special. I can't even remember half the jokes I've stole. I've written. I can't even remember how many times I performed. So if somebody says something, I used to say, why would I care?
Hey, I tell Duval that all the time, and you in the same space, DL. It's almost impossible not to take from you because you're on the radio, you got a podcast, you do stand up. Like right. They hear you so much. It's probably stuff you say that you don't even think about. You know what I mean? And somebody might grab it and turn it into a whole bit.
What it's called? You can't. Everything's in the zeitgeist, but you know what I don't do? What I don't do is I'm always late performance because I never want to see who's on before me. I never go because I don't want to have that thing in my head. I'll walk on right before I'm on stage. Me and my dog get there, we go on stage and we do our job. Because plus I don't want anybody's thought of a situation affect mine. Like I didn't, when I was watching I'll watch something like Prince Philip passed on 99 years old, which was very sad. And he survived World Wars, he survived COVID, but he didn't get past that Oprah interview, did he? He had Oprah. It's like a black grandbaby. It's Buckingham Palace, not Buck Weedenham. I don't. Okay. But things like that are like I'm attracted to darker perspectives. Like I'm glad that New York finally is looking at legalizing marijuana and all it took was to have a governor accused of sexual assault. That's all it took. Like he touched my ass. Y'all want some weed? Would y'all like some? I like things that are more serious. I didn't feel bad for Meghan Markle. I didn't. I think it's silly to pretend like you didn't know that the people who began the process of colonization are gonna change things because of the black girl from Suits.
They're
not gonna do that.
I was like, what did she expect? I was like, what existence has she lived that she thought things were gonna be different from her? That was like a nigga wake up call to me.
Right. But you blessed you in the royal. I don't care what you call me if I'm in the royal family. Nigga, sir nigga to you. Now somebody walking through the royal. I'm not.
But you know, until you're there, you don't know how bad it is too. And when you're having a baby, I think that makes it even worse when you're thinking about bringing a baby into that situation.
I think that I've had babies, and let me tell you this: I've had a few of them. You know, I've done it, but I think that it is presumptuous to believe that you get to escape. You get a pass from blackness. I don't care who you're around. I don't care who you're around.
That's right.
No black person. I don't care. Here, there are things. I don't care whether you're Tim Scott or whether you're Charlamagne the God. There are things that, as a black man, some experience you're going to have, and you don't get to skip them. And to believe you skip them, believe that you have a notion of yourself that is different.
That's right. That's
but in your head, maybe you think you can handle it too, right? Like maybe you're saying, okay, I know it's going to be tough. And then you get there and it's like, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? And you're allowed to walk away from that. But maybe you know it's going to happen. And you're thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this. I'm going to do this.
And they're gonna forget that I'm black. They're gonna
not that they'll forget, but maybe you think you can take it. And so you can't take it.
I think that it's awful presumptuous to believe that you are going to have experiences that I just, in my estimation, and obviously I feel empathic for her, because I think a woman and emotions and having children and wanting everybody to love your children and to have, I think that that's human, except we're not viewed as human, except that inherently we're not viewed as human. So I feel bad.
Even having a baby and your hormones, and I'm sure like it makes you more emotional, you know, so who knows? I mean, I can't, judge that.
I know this, no matter what, I don't care. Hormones, a beautiful baby, Archie, I don't care, none of that. That didn't change the way they saw her.
That's right. Them white supremacists don't give a fuck what she was going through.
She, quiet as it's kept, she ain't the first black woman that had a baby they didn't care nothing about.
Hey, that's why
I can't appreciate her husband, leaving with her and just being by her side. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know if I'd have done that. Now, come on now, I'm gonna be in a family. I wouldn't leave the pink moisturizer family. I wouldn't do that. I'm not doing that. You can be my side bro forever. I'm not leaving the royal family. I'll leave up your residuals from Howie Mandel. I'm not doing it.
Hey man,
Dia, before you finish, I got to ask you, at any point, right, while you were suffering from COVID, did you think you weren't going to make it? And did it change anything for you?
Not even in it. I never thought, honestly, I never was worried about dying. I was worried about never being the same, because the brain fog, the exhaustion, getting ready to go on stage, and they would have to give me packets of salt, so my blood pressure would drop. It was like every day. And I will say this, that there were some days I was like, I'm not going to do this forever. Like if I'll take myself out of here if I got to do this forever. I wouldn't do it. And so when people, I'm like flummoxed when I see people go, this is not real. Like it's a hoax. And that was, to me, it's hard to accept something or to fix something or to. One of the reasons Black people have so much hesitancy and are dying, and this new Delta variant, if it's based on the airlines, it's going to be late anyway. So I don't know. But one of the things that happens, we get killed by misinformation more than anybody else, because we don't believe. They know that we are inclined not to believe, and so and because we've had a history of not having people, trustworthy people in our sphere, and it's really killing us. It's like, everybody will believe somebody they heard on the internet say something, but they don't seek for themselves and talk to doctors. We know everybody's lyrics. We know what everybody's worth. We know where they live. We know what they wear. Then we have an obligation to know what's real and what's not, and what will be most advantageous for us from a health perspective or not.
Dia, I wanted to ask you, man. I saw first of all, you said you wanted to take yourself out. You didn't mean like suicide, did you?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna do this every day. Like every day. Like I couldn't even think. Now, imagine being trapped inside your own body every day, and nobody can tell you what's going on. I can't think, I can't write, I can't perform, I can't talk, I can't articulate my thoughts. I wasn't gonna do that. And it was horrible. And I remember talking to my wife will hear about it for the first time. I remember talking to my fraternity brothers. I was like, I'm not doing this. I won't. I can't do it. It was like every day living like inside, like I imagine being trapped underwater and you could see the surface. It was horrible. So I don't know what people's, like even their initial run of the disease, incarnation of the disease, that brain fog, my heart would race up. I would just get faint. Like I couldn't stand up. Try to do a radio show where you got to think for 4 hours, or to go on stage or to write jokes where you can't think, or to have a conversation and you can't remember their name. And you can't, like my heart would race up and I just get so nauseous. It was like I was on a ship. I wasn't gonna do that every day. I
wonder how many other people felt like that. I mean, that's another angle that, I've never thought about. You get COVID and it's so bad, you feel like you'd rather take yourself out than
never do. Can you imagine losing you? Like I know me. I'm my hero. I rescue me. So, and then all of a sudden you, like I was like, I'll never do that. And it was days I was like, man, I'm not gonna do this.
And that's not even like dementia, because I guess, you were aware that you had lost your cognitive abilities.
And I had to talk to, because I had to get all kinds of tests done. I had to do all kinds of things. And they finally came out with this thing called, with a diagnosis called long-term COVID. Now, there was nothing they could do about it, but it stripped me of everything that I ever believed about myself. Like I couldn't bend down and pick anything up. I would get dizzy. I couldn't exercise. I couldn't play golf. I couldn't read. I would be reading a sentence and had no idea what the word meant. Wow. I'm not gonna do that. I spent too many years being dumb to go through it again. I ain't doing that again. Get vaccine. I was like, and then it got better, worse. And I'd say about 2 months ago, it got a lot better.
Just 2 months ago?
Good.
Yeah.
No, people have real long-term effects, like out of breath all the time, still don't have taste, still can't smell, all kinds of things. So,
and then you hear people, oh, it ain't real. And I'm like, so I just, if you ever knew somebody who died from it or who's still suffering from it or dealing with it right now, it's athletes in the NBA who it took, like world-class athletes, like what it does to your heart, what it does to inflammation, what it does to your brain, what it does to your electrical system. No one knows because it's a novel virus. But I know this, I'm just now, and a year, the 19th was a year since I had it. I'm just now in the last couple of months beginning to feel like, okay, this will be all right.
Man, you got me thinking, because I had a friend who committed suicide last year, and you got me thinking if she might have went through something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, I thought it was something else, but you just never know. I don't know.
I remember telling, why would I do that? I'm not gonna do that.
And they still don't know what all the long-term effects would be, like you said, because it's a novel virus, so we don't even know.
And then who do you tell that to? Who do you say that to? Like you tell your family, they're gonna freak out, and then everybody gonna think you. I know I wasn't crazy. I mean, that's debatable, but I knew. But I'm like, I can't imagine a world where I don't know me anymore.
Wow.
I wouldn't do it.
Wow.
And I'm not advocating that for anybody. I'm not telling you.
No,
you're telling the truth. I get it.
I mean, and look, you came through on the other side, so thank God you're feeling better now. So that's a blessing.
When tequila don't make me feel better, or bourbon, I'm something wrong.
Absolutely. Hey, DL, brother, we love you, man. How to Survive in America is out right now. Make sure y'all go grab that. You going back on tour anytime soon?
Yeah.
He's out here.
Yeah, I'm writing a new special called Neat.
Neat?
Yeah, like I like my liquor neat, not shaken, not stirred, no additives, preserved, just neat.
I like that. I like that. DL Hughley, it's the Breakfast Club. Thank you, brother.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.